Good morning to anyone that sees this. Or if, like me, you've been up all night, good evening. Um, this is both my test live and I'm not sure what else is going to happen. As I said, we're going to do, we're going to do some messages and then I'm going to do a reading for the Twin Flame community. And then if anyone sees this and happens to hop on, I'll offer some open live readings. One of the first messages I wanted to give, one of the reasons I suspect that I was called to do this right now. I've only seen one video about it so far, so I haven't done a lot of research. But according to one video on YouTube, someone was saying that YouTube and Google have changed the rules and that somehow we cannot offer prayer as a healing modality in place of doctors, etc. I will say that I'm not sure about the legalities of that, especially if there are legitimate pastors, preachers, reverends out there who often offer prayer for healing. We can argue about the science of prayer. I've discussed in other videos about the scientific evidence for healing. However, I do understand the need to cover their assets, if you will. So I will say that a message to all light workers, if we can try to be patient, understand that whatever powers that be that have gotten their feathers ruffled, there must have been something behind it. We'll have to wait and see what's going on. In the meantime, I'm sure you can always offer private prayer. And as far as I know, the rules do not say that we cannot pray, and I will continue to pray for protection and safety. As always, I will always say, and even as a Reiki practitioner. In fact, one day I might do an interview with someone if she's willing. Short story, I did sense something wrong. I kept telling her to go to the doctor. She kept refusing. But there's a lot that healing can do. There's a lot that prayer can do. But as God taught me a long time ago when I was going through my healing, sometimes that healing is miraculous, no doubt about it. But sometimes that healing comes from combined miracles. We might pray for a healing for someone or for ourselves. And what that prayer brings about isn't a spontaneous, instantaneous healing. Sometimes what it brings about is a meeting with someone who tells us about an amazing doctor. And we go to that doctor, and that doctor knows of some new technique or new technology that is wonderful. And through that, we receive our healing. So I would never tell someone not to go to a doctor. And as light workers, none of us should do that. Faith is amazing, and we should have absolute faith that the person that we're praying for will be healed in God's way, in His time, not ours. And I know this sounds preachy, and believe me, once upon a time, I was very headstrong. I still am very headstrong. Let's not lie. Let's not lie. Anybody that knows me would tell you I still argue. There are so many things, especially when it comes to taking medicine or just going to the doctor. And I seem to have gotten interrupted, kicked off. I'm not sure what happened. No. Okay, something just blipped in front of my screen for some reason. Anyway, my point is that I'm probably the worst patient ever. And it's not that I don't believe in doctors. I have an amazing doctor, an absolutely amazing doctor right now. It's just that it's annoying. He's an hour drive away. I have to take time off of stuff. I don't want to. So I'll procrastinate. But the truth is, and God taught me this very strongly when I was going through my healing, that one of the first things that he told me when I was refusing to take medicine, because I didn't want to take medicine of any kind, he created the doctors. He doesn't like all medicine, and I'm not going to get into debates with pharmaceutical companies or big governments. I'm just going to say, not everything is equal. So we have to use our discernment, we have to use our judgment, and we have to find good doctors that we trust. But he did create them, just like he created us. Sometimes there's a purpose for the things that we go through. Sometimes an instant healing, as much as we might want it for someone or for ourselves, is not their path or ours. I learned more about healing in general. I learned more about people, more about myself while I was going through my healing process, which took years, than I ever would have if the healing had been instant. Is that to say that he wasn't there? No, there were days I could not take the pain. I had a motorcycle accident over 20 years ago now, and it was really bad. I should say 2 chips out of my skull, compressed vertebrae, 3 years of physical therapy 3 times a week. And there were days when just walking was so excruciatingly painful. And I would pray and pray and pray and just, God, can you please take the pain away? And he would say, please be patient. There's a purpose. And there were days when it was so bad, I would say, please, just till I get this done, just for a little while. And amazingly, the pain would go away instantly. And it wouldn't remain that way, but it would go away for a while, long enough for me to get what I needed done. So we have to remember that, and let's be all inclusive here. I call this divine energy, this quantum energy. If Einstein was around, he might just grumble something like E equals mc squared. Quantum physicist might think it lies somewhere around the boson-Higgs particle. I believe that's the particle that they call the God particle. Forgive me, it's late. Muslims call him Allah. I'm not up on all the names and all the religions. There's Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim. I'll call him Heavenly Father. It's all the same thing as long as we understand that it is the Creator. And that was the other message, is we've gotten so divided, religiously speaking, in every single way. There has been this drive to divide us. Masks, no masks. Shot, no shot. Skin color. It's ridiculous. We are one group of beings Homo sapiens. We have differences, we have genetic differences. That's what makes us wonderful. If every single woman looked like me, what a boring place that would be. If every single man looked like Tom Hanks, what a boring world that would be. Because, well, it's not going to, I can't even finish that message putting me in there. Let's put someone that I admire in terms of, for, actually, let's put someone in there that, if everyone was Anne Frank, if everyone was Martha Stewart, if everyone was Angelina Jolie, you can pick any person. The point is whether it's for intellect or compassion or beauty. If every single female was the same, it would lose its spice. The same thing holds true for the men. Our differences are what make us beautiful. If everyone was white, it would be a boring freaking world. And you can put in any color in there other than white, and it would still be a boring freaking world. It's the fact that we can stand next to each other and say, oh, your skin has a little bit of olive and yours has a little bit of yellow, and you look good in this color and you look good in that. That's what strikes up conversations, makes life interesting. I'm not going to go into who and conspiracy theories, but it doesn't really matter because the change isn't made by pointing fingers and saying, oh, it's this person or that person that's starting all the drama or trying to start drama. It ends with us. The solution begins with us as individuals, light workers and other people, twin flames or not. It starts here, right now, with all of us. Refuse to see in their separation of color because it's not like that. I took a color, well, I've taken a few courses. Color therapy was one of them. Another one was color matching, which teaches you how to match someone to their color. There are 4: winter, summer, spring, and fall. You look good in a certain set of colors depending on your complexion. Now, most people would want to automatically separate that into a race or culture difference, but it's not. I could stand next to somebody who had very, very, very brown skin. It doesn't matter how dark brown. If they have an olive, it will not show up here. Well, even it looks yellowish. I've got the ring light on pink setting and I still look yellow. If you look at your wrist and your wrist looks a little olivey under the skin, you're most likely a summer, which means eggplant purple is your color, pinks, blues. I'm not going to go into a color lesson. If your wrist, on the other side of your wrist, has yellow tones, then that's a whole different season. I'd have to go back to my book. It's been years. My point is I can stand next, and I proved it to some women. I can stand next to somebody who, it doesn't matter what race or culture they are. We still, underneath this here on top that we've been fighting about for the last, I don't know, year more. This is based on things like how much vitamin D you get and the pigmentation that is in your DNA structure based on where your ancestors before you lived and how your body had to adapt to the heat. It has nothing to do with how smart you are, how kind you are, how compassionate you are, how generous you are. It is literally an adaptive change in the color of your skin to the environment that you were in previously. And it takes generations for those DNA adaptations to change, unless it's done through, in the animal kingdom, called breeding. In Homo sapiens, I would call it mating, falling in love, getting rid of all of the BS. So we're getting hung up on so many differences, and we're forgetting how similar we can be and how beautiful those differences are supposed to be and why we have those differences on this planet. So that was one of the first messages. It's been being drummed into my head for quite a while now. It just wasn't quite time to speak them out loud. I did on a few on a different platform. I've made a few comments. I've written an article or two about certain things, but this was, let's just say the way I'm getting it is that there are repercussions to how we treat each other, and that divine creative energy created all of us and loves all of us the same. So when we start tearing each other down because that person is not wearing a mask, then put a mask on if that's what you feel is necessary for you. They want me to grab something. I'm going to show you something. Oh. Can I? Oh, yes, I do have one. Okay. I am not an anti-masker. Okay. This is my emergency mask. I'm not going to put it on right now, or you'll see the proof of what I'm about to say. I can show a few things, though. This is a new mask. This has just been sitting here. Well, maybe I can. Oh, maybe you can see it. There's a hair. I don't even have a dog myself. And yet somehow, from previous residents in this house, I'm assuming, I got a dog hair. Or from the neighbor's dog when I was walking the mask in. Who knows? Or petting the neighbor's dog. My point is, I have a pink mask. Silk mask, beautiful mask that my friend made me. I can wear that one all day long in the grocery stores without issue. But these masks, I cannot wear. I do have them. I wear them in and out of the store very quickly, in and out of the bank, but this will shorten my trip. After about 15 minutes, I can no longer breathe in this. I am hypersensitive because of my asthma to the chemical smell. Again, I will wear it for the safety of other people because I do believe in wearing the mask. It's not a bad idea. I also get very sick if I even get a cold or a flu, so I'm overcautious anyway. But for everyone who doesn't want to wear a mask or can't, for the same reasons, maybe they didn't have a best friend that had extra masks that were really good. Maybe they didn't have a really good friend who made them a pink silk mask. Maybe they just didn't have that. So when we're fighting over stuff like this, we forget that what we're supposed to be doing is, in terms of humanity, is pulling together. And the last topic that God's getting really, really pissed about is this whole COVID shot thing. Because quite frankly, if you really want to get down to it, if you really want the God's honest truth about it, COVID is a natural thing that may or may not, he's not going to get into that with anybody right now, have been manipulated by science. And whatever is done is done. However, the fact does not change. And I wrote an article about this too on Facebook. When he first told me about it, I did some research before I wrote the article. And what I said is coming to pass. So we'll find out if the rest of what he said will come to pass. And what he had to say then, when this whole thing started, he had me look up article after article and showed me. It's a retrovirus, meaning very much a flu virus, or very like a flu virus. Call it a cousin. Okay? A variant. With the retroviruses, if I remember my research correctly, so if I get tagged, someone puts, shares this on Facebook and I get tagged for fact checkers, make sure you leave your links. But according to the research I did, every retrovirus that's ever come out hits hard initially. Think about it, guys. How many viruses, how many flu viruses have we come out with that everybody was scared? And I cannot think of the names off the top of my head. I want to call one the pigeon flu or something. And they killed people when they first came out. They were very dangerous when they first came out. And 2 years later, everybody was like, oh, it's flu season again. Now, in part, was that because people got vaccinated? Maybe. But I will tell you, and again, this is not a replacement for medical advice. All I can tell you is what my doctor at the time told me. I got sick, as some people do, after taking a flu shot. I got very, very, very sick. And my doctor advised me not to take the flu shots anymore. And then went on to explain to me that, especially at least that year, they don't have any idea what flu virus is actually going to be running rampant unless they are, like they're doing with COVID-19, testing for that specific strain of retrovirus. They have no idea what you have. You can be all kinds of different strains of the flu, and they call it the flu. So when they go to inoculate you for the flu, they can't possibly inoculate you for every single variant of flu that there is. My point is, do vaccines help? Can they help slow things down? According to Heavenly Father, yes. He even had me, I was a very anti-vaccine. He had me do research, showed me where the dangers were, and some potentials for avoiding the dangers. But for a lot of reasons, myself, because I get sick, so sick after taking a flu virus or a flu vaccine, I'm a little afraid to take that COVID-19 vaccine. I haven't taken it yet. It might be a little different if I had someone to take care of me and make sure that I was okay. But the idea of being stuck in bed for 2 weeks, sick as a dog, with no one around, doesn't really appeal to me. Having said that, that's my own personal preference, my own personal fear and preference. Does that mean I don't believe in the vaccine? No, it does not mean that at all. It means that I don't think that at this time it's right for me, given my specific set of circumstances. Did I support my best friend in taking it? I absolutely did. It was right for him. It was right for my other friend. What I'm saying is, again, there's a lot of division going on over something that shouldn't be dividing anybody. First of all, and this is the only thing I'm going to say about the government, I don't think that any government anywhere has the ethical right to force anybody to put anything into their body that they don't want to. I can tell you right now, I still have memories from being in the hospital as a kid and having doctors try to do stuff like that. And talk to me, explain things to me, help me to see it your way, no problem. But force me, that's a violation. That's a violation that feels very much like RAP, we won't finish the rest. And the government may not see it that way, or these governments may not see it that way when they're trying to force people to do things. Whether they like it or not, that's exactly what it is. You may not be holding people down, but they're holding them hostage. And that's as political as I'm going to get on that. That's just my belief. And that belief, that was formulated after some very long talks with Heavenly Father, so it comes from a little higher up too. Like I said, there's going to be some repercussions for the things that people are doing. It isn't our job to do them. God's going to handle it, but I would not want to be in their shoes. As for the rest of us, get the vaccine if you need it, if you feel like you do. If you have people around you who are immune compromised, if you, and you can, I'm not saying, oh, if so-and-so is immune compromised, but you're in a situation like me where it could be a very bad thing for you to get it, don't put your health at risk, and vice versa. Don't not get it just because you want to piss somebody off or because, for whatever reason. Make your choice based on your health, based on what's smart for you. These should not be emotionally laid decisions. And I know this is a serious, strong message, but it's why I was kept up till 2:30 in the morning, figuring out tech support, tech stuff, and getting my computer ready and taking care of all of this so that I could give this message. Now, I didn't want to make this all serious, and neither did they. So the second message, the one I've been the most nervous about giving myself, is for the twin flame community. So I am told we're going to get some messages for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And I hope you will excuse me if I get a sip of water really quick. I know that was only not even quite 30 minutes, but for some reason I feel like I've been shouting from the top of a mountain for 2 hours. It's these cards. Okay. Now I will mention again for anyone that didn't read the description, if you're seeing this live and you're thinking about joining in, now that I'm done with the more serious stuff, we're going to do the twin flame reading. And then after I'm done with the twin flame reading, if anybody has popped in here, it's kind of one of those you snooze, you lose things. So if no one shows up, then there will be, then I'll probably wait a few minutes after I'm done with, well, no. Usually these readings take me a while. So if no one has come on here while I'm doing the twin flame reading, then I will just close this out and call it a night. If there are people on here by the time I'm done with the twin flame reading, then I will offer 1 or 2 live readings for someone. So I have no idea what message they're going to give, but we're going to get started. I'm going to start with a prayer, and then we'll go from there. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. Heavenly Father, please clear me, my energy, and my home of any negative energies. Please only allow your light and your love to shine through. Make me an empty vessel, Heavenly Father, that I might receive your messages clearly, without prejudice. And take away all this worry and anxiety that I've got about whatever's coming, Heavenly Father. I ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. So, I guess this is going to be a kind of a checkup on our twin flames. So the first one we're going to do is, let's see. Hopefully, I'll be able to make this so you can see this okay. So we're going to do, nope, I'm going to put this down a little bit. I'm going to cut my head off. There we go. Okay, so Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and they are reserving this for something else. What do you want me to use, God? Okay, so we're going to do that after. So let's find out what's going on with Divine Masculine. 7 of Swords. And for the Divine Feminine, we've got the King of Wands. This is what's going on in their headspace. Divine Masculine's got some sneaky stuff going on, sneaky energy. He's keeping some kind of secret. He's trying to be as quiet as he can about something. But I don't get the sense that there's any kind of maliciousness or it's literally this feeling of he just doesn't want to talk about it right now. He's got his own secrets going on because he's tired of fighting. He doesn't want to have any arguments. And he's just trying to sneak out of whatever this situation is. And I don't feel like it's an outward situation. Whatever that's going on in his head, he's just trying to kind of sneak away from that. Move this a little bit. Just sitting like that's going to be very hard on my back, so I apologize, everybody. Okay. For the Divine Feminine, I've got the King of Wands. And our Divine Feminines are kind of it's interesting that we pulled a King of Wands for the Divine Feminine. I don't get the feeling that this is any outward source that she's thinking about. Not even her Divine Masculine. This is more like, I'm drawn to the light that's at the top of the chair. Let's see if you can see in there. Coming up with ideas. And it's around the masculine energy within the Divine Feminine. So it's about making money. It's about finding the stability. There's still some soft edges, but everything is pointed. Everything is sharp. There's a lot of defense. A lot of defense. It's just a lot of, and it's not, I don't want to say defensive energy. It's like, how are they trying to explain the difference? It's like, if I was to say defensive energy, that would be someone who takes that defensive energy and puts it outwards towards something or towards someone. So when the gentleman comes up and asks her very politely for a date, she immediately jumps down his throat and says, I'm not interested in men. I'm not dating. I'm just, all men are whatever. This is more like internalizing that. The gentleman comes up and asks her for a date, and she simply quietly says, no, thank you. No explanation needed. No talking about it. Just done. No, thank you. I'm not interested because I'm busy working on this. I have had to step into this masculine role. I'm having to be the defender of my little world. I'm having to provide. I'm having to take on all the masculine stuff right now. And in doing so, I don't have any time to be feminine. In her heart, she wants this couple energy. See, it's interesting. I would love to go back in time in a time machine because I have a theory. Science. Zoologists, people who study animals, they will tell you that if you go into the wild, you see a pride, which is one male, usually consists of one male lion and multiple females. But after talking to God, I have a theory. And that theory is this, that once upon a time, a long, long time ago, when there were plenty of resources, food was not as scarce, the men didn't have to chase each other off. One lion could have one female, and they could be a couple, and have lots of little babies. And there was plenty of territory for the next lion who was born, the male, to find his own female and for them to have their own children. And I asked God about this after I don't have cats anymore, but after having this one cat couple for many, many, many years. And I will tell you that before Misty, their names were Pixels Misty. Before Misty came into the house, Pixels would roam around all over the place. Like most cats, he was in and out of the house. He was, please excuse me. He was in and out of the house. He was very adventurous. When he was young, we weren't even sure whether he was a boy or a girl because he didn't. There was no testosterone there. There was nothing to tell, right? And when Misty came, and this was after he was grown, and they finally dropped, and we knew he was a boy. So Misty comes into our home, and she was this beautiful Siamese female, and not your typical Siamese. She loved everybody in the family and loved to be held and held on my lap. But she did not like to go outside. And Pixels and her were a couple. There was no doubt about it. We had other cats in the house. There were other cats in the neighborhood. Pixels did not leave her side. He rarely went outside. He was a total tomcat, like, and by tomcat, I mean like total player. Loved to go everywhere. I had always been told that this was the normal. This was what nature wanted. One man, lots of women. But not Pixels. And then I've talked to other cat owners who said that they noticed the same thing. Pixels stayed in that house from the day he fell for her. And those two were inseparable for years. We finally lost Misty. And after that happened, Pixels did start going outside again a little bit. But he was not the same cat. He just moped and moped. I think he was like somewhere between 12 and 14 years old when he passed from old age. And I swear they were just the cutest couple, and they were definitely a couple. And my whole point in digressing to this is that deep down, despite what the world is saying, despite the war on relationships, despite the war on families, despite the war on marriages that is going on in our society today, despite how much men and women are tearing each other apart online, on social media, and we can blame feminism and the backlash, but again, it's no different than what I've said before. It starts at home. It starts with us. It starts with our own attitude and what we put out into the world. Instead of letting society tell us what's normal, we have to trust what's in here. And when God said, "What ye do unto the least of these, ye do unto me," he wasn't just talking about back then. And he wasn't just I'm sorry, I misquoted. What ye do unto the least of my children, ye do unto me. He wasn't talking about just kids, little kids. He wasn't talking about just back then, oh, it's good for that day and age, but not now. Quantum physics. Once you start studying quantum physics, it all starts making sense. If you start studying about quantum entanglement, we are so connected at such a fundamental level. And for people who do not understand this, I know it sounds like woohoo stuff, but scientifically, energetically speaking, all of our energy connects. So what we do to one person has a ripple effect. It affects everybody they touch. And if we are within God and God is within us, then it affects him too. And that's the other thing he's been getting very upset about, is all of this baloney. He likes marriages. He likes monogamy. He likes the lessons that they teach in compassion and unconditional love. But more than that, even if you choose to be single, even if you choose to have a single life, because society has gotten a lot of things screwed up, that's not a free pass to tear each other down. It's not a free pass to sit there and say, okay, if you're going to say I'm single, I'm going to remain single, then be single for your own reasons, whatever they are. But don't spread don't spread the virus. Don't spread the gossip and the rumors about another species or another part of our species. Do not spread misinformation and lies, because that's what it is when you generalize. When you say all men do X, all women do X. God is getting so angry about that. And do you know how I know he's getting angry? Let me let you see my face. Let me see my face, okay? Do you know how I know he's getting so pissed about that? Because I'm on this twin flame journey, and my twin flame ripped my heart to fucking shreds. I mean, to shreds on more than one occasion. But he didn't do it maliciously. There were reasons that I didn't understand at the time. But before I took a breath, and before I was able to be who I'm supposed to be, I flashed into that societal norm that when we get bombarded, me included, with all the constant negative crap about the opposite sex, or same holds true if you're in a same-sex relationship, we tend to pick it up, even when we know better. So when I started to get mad, when I started to say, and just started to say something about never a relationship again, never this again, men are, the minute that started coming through my head, not even out my mouth, through my head, I'm telling you, there is no off switch for me. This is not, I'm on YouTube to do that. This is my life. Like, I hear them all the time. So I'm telling you, the minute that started, I got reamed. That is not how this is supposed to go. You know better. I thought you said you loved him. Do you love him? Yeah, I do. So then, where's your compassion? Where's your understanding? Where's your empathy? Why are you saying, is that really what you want? Do you really want to know what that feels like? No, God, no, nope, I'm good. I'm sorry, that was just math. I was hurt. That's why I can get over the hurt so fast. 5 minutes in, and I was like, okay, all right, I got this. I will go talk to him. He's getting upset about how much we are tearing each other apart. Now, I'm letting you know, Divine Feminines, for two reasons. One, because I consider it a blessing to be auditory, especially because everyone else keeps saying to me what a blessing it is, and it's a gift, and how they wish they could hear. But when you can hear, you can hear. Those of you that cannot, those are the kinds of messages I would give. It was given. They were harsh. They were not easy to hear because I was feeling hurt and abandoned and upset, and not all at the same time, but different instances. Triggered. We would have triggered for whatever reason, right? And God had to smack me down and say, hey, wait a minute. But in doing so, in guiding me to get past those triggers and to go and talk to my best friend, I got to keep my best friend. And that is an amazing, beautiful gift. Now, I could have had a choice. Could I have continued to be scared and not talk to him, afraid he might hurt my feelings again? Well, we all do that. I mean, as I told him once, that's part of being friends. We're going to do that sometimes, and you got to talk it through. Is the journey worth it? Yes. I could have stayed butthurt. I could have just, if I hadn't had God kicking my ass once, I might have. But I would rather have my friend. And does that mean if someone's hurting you all the time or being abusive that you should stay? No, I know there's relationships like that, and you should not stay in that. God is not advocating abuse. But I'm talking about this twin flame journey. It's not always about being right beside each other. Sometimes we meet up a little too early. You know, when our vibrations are not 100% in sync. Sometimes we might start out in sync, but one of us grows faster than the other. And then we have to separate for a little while to figure it out. That's part of that beautiful dance I've talked about in a few videos. And the reason I'm giving that message is because in kicking your butt, God wants you to remember that you've got all your defenses up right here. But deep down, everything I just said, you already know. You already know that if you love somebody, you should talk to them. You already know that forgiveness is part of this journey. You already know that your twin flame has your heart. So just be patient with yourself and with them. All right, I'm going to look at these messages really quick. I have to put on my glasses. I apologize to Sarthank. Did your heart please answer the first word, yes or no? Okay. So if you can just hold on. You're asking for a personal reading. I don't know why I raised my voice. As I said, after I get through with the DM and DF message, I will do your personal reading. I will answer that for you. It's the best I can. Okay. And the reason I say that is because the divine twin flame message was one that God wants me to put out. So I've got to do that first. And then I will we'll pull some cards and see what we can get. I am getting like an immediate we're definitely going to pull cards on that. Well, let me finish this one first, okay? Can you hang in there with me for a little bit? And thank you for showing up. Okay. All right, we just looked at what's in their head. All right. So, DM's heart, DF's heart. Divine Masculine feels like nothing is moving, nothing's changing, energetically speaking. Like things might be changing in the physical life, potentially getting a new job or a new car or meeting new people. And yet, no matter what else is happening in this outside world, it feels like it's the same thing. Just a different form, but the same energy. That's what he feels like right now. Like no matter what he does, it's just the same damn energy. He could buy a new car, but the car will have the same problems the old car had. He could move to a new house, but it'll end up having the same bad neighbors or ones just like them. So he's feeling very, very, very frustrated. Not even frustrated, defeated. It feels like the masculine feels defeated. There's no thoughts of love in his heart right now. It's not even about love. It's just defeated. Like, what in the heck did I do? The Divine Feminine is, a lot of them are very much in a prayerful state where they need to be. If they're not, they're feeling a lack of strength, feeling very defeated in another way, though. It's like, if you remember, in her headspace, she's got all her defenses up. She's working on her finances. She's doing everything she can to push forward. But she's just, her defenses are up so high, she's forgetting about what she really knows. In her heart space, she just does not feel strong at all anymore. She feels completely weak. She feels tired. I'm hearing word small and helpless. She doesn't want to. That's part of what this is about. She's here mentally with all these defenses because in her heart she feels so small and defenseless. So tiny. Someone has made her feel so small. And she's just praying for answers, trying to figure it out. And I get the feeling like she'll pray and then she'll go back into this mode. And then she'll pray and find a little bit of relief, or just enough to get her going again, and then she goes back into defense mode. All right, I'm getting told to do the energy between these two. Okay. And these are, for, if you haven't seen my other readings, the medicine cards. Oh. The energy between them. Well, we don't have any. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of deception going on here. We have the Spider card. The number 43 might have some significance for somebody, but between these two, I know that there's different meanings for this, and I will read the Spider card in just a minute, but the first thing I thought when I saw this is like a brown recluse. It's a spider here we have here in Arizona, and if it bites you, it'll sting for a little minute, and then you'll think nothing of it until, if you have a reaction to it, which many people do, your skin starts dissolving, or however you want to call it. You get an ulcer, and it will start getting a hole bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. People have had to have limbs amputated because of this little bugger. And that's what it feels like. It feels like this. It almost feels like, and I don't feel like either person, either energy, the divine feminines. This is the part of the reading this general. It doesn't feel like either the divine masculine nor the divine feminine intentionally tried to trap the other or was catching them up in the web. But it feels like some things that have been said in this relationship were in communication between the masculine and feminine, were very much like that spider bite, where it was a little bite, a warning bite, maybe. And maybe even the spider didn't realize how much damage he or she was doing. But that person's reaction to it, their chemistry, their triggers, turned that into a festering ulcer that just ate away at them. It made this very, very difficult to heal. Now, there are ways to heal the bite from a brown recluse. You can find some of them online. There are treatments in hospitals that have some effectiveness. In some people, it goes away completely. In some people, the ulcer thing will pop up somewhere else in the body. But I know it can be treated. I've had one. Legal reasons I cannot tell you. Absolutely could not tell you that I treated my own. But my point is that there are many ways to treat it, right? And that's the message here, that there's more than one way to fix this. It's going to be different for a lot of different people. For some people, one technique or one method of communication might work better. For other people, it might be something different, depending on the couple. However, communication is going to be key. One, forgiving whatever that bite was. So that's like first step. Go in, wash your hands, sterilize it. Second step is, if it's starting to get an ulcer, what are you putting on it? What are you going to do? Are you going to go to the doctor? Are you going to put a poultice on? If you're Native American, maybe you don't go to the doctors. Maybe put poultice on. It's going to be different. The same thing works with communication. Each person has their own love language. Each person has their own triggers. So how you might go and communicate with your divine feminine or your divine masculine to fix the situation will be different. So this general reading can't fix that problem for every single person. What I can tell you is that that's the general energy. We have on both sides what was supposed to be little warning bites. It wasn't supposed to be something that killed the friendship, killed the relationship. But because of the internal triggers, and that's the other part of it, is accepting responsibility for the internal trigger. And one of the ways that we can do that, engage that, is we can ask, and this is a good question because our divine counterpart is so close to us, especially for divine feminines right now in these energies, and we're so in love with them that what somebody else could get away with saying to us, we'd be like, and we blow it off. Our divine counterpart says it to us, and it cuts. It's a death cut. Okay? So the first question is, if someone else said that to you, would it be a big deal? Would it be something you'd cut the friendship off for? Or would you have the guts to just sit there and say, please don't say that to me? Or even, if you say it again, I'm leaving. Or would you not even care if somebody else said it? Because their opinion really just didn't matter in that area. Are we giving that divine counterpart so much power over us mentally? And that is our choice, that what they said actually had the ability to cut us to the quick. If that's the case, then we have to own up for that. Why did it cut us to the quick? What abandonment issue did we have? What trauma did we have? What do we have to work through that is ours to own, that we can figure out how to fix so that we can communicate with our divine counterpart better? So, I just got another one. Oh, okay, I'm not even acknowledging whatever that comment is. I have no idea why people come in and do stuff like that. Excuse me. So, I feel like I'm missing something that I'm supposed to get from the book. So let me grab this real quick. Definitely missing something I'm supposed to get from the book. I don't know if you guys saw that. Opened right up to it. I think I've opened this book like all of 4 times maybe. Spider weaving web of delight, weave me a peaceful world. Carry creation in your web, waiting to be unfurled. And I know we're live, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. But let me see. God can guide me to whatever it is he wanted. Oh, yeah. I just don't know what it means yet. It was one of the first things that didn't make sense. I told you, when I first saw this, first thing I thought of was the brown recluse. But I also felt like the feminine in this, there was something about her energy. She's so pissed that it's like she's eating out the divine masculine. Like the female Black Widow does. And yet it didn't. I just dismissed it because it didn't feel like the female Black Widow. However, the contrary aspect of the spider is akin to the negative side of the woman. Spider will eat her mate if she gets too caught up in herself to see the validity of honoring male energy. Oh, back to the message that I was giving earlier about all the warring that we're doing when we talk crap about each other. And right now, talking crap about men online, it's heavy. Like really, really, really heavy. This group of divine feminines, and no judgment, I hope this is not an energy that this group of divine feminines is going to be in long, but this is definitely one that the divine feminines are stuck in right now. The contrary aspect of spider is akin to the negative side of the woman. I already said that. I'm sorry, guys. Spider will eat her mate if she gets too caught up in herself to see the validity of honoring male energy. The warrior at her side is a strong, balanced force. If you have become disdainful of your mate, male or female, and have felt very superior recently, you are not honoring either your male or female side. If you are not presently in a relationship, you may have chosen a member of your family or workmate to harass. This type of negative criticism only breaks down relations and is a reflection of something you hate about yourself. If you're trying to feel your ego in this manner, you have lost the game. You are entangled in the web of your own illusion about who you really are. It may be time to look at why you are being critical and why you are feeling so weak that you must attack others. If this does not apply to your situation, take a look at another message that contrary spider-medicine brings: lack of creativity. You fail to use your talents to get the web spinning. Your lack of creativity can change into destructiveness. I don't get that. It's this message, without a doubt, for me. That was 100% confirmation of everything that God had just said. I do want to ask about the potential outcome. Now, obviously, twin flames are supposed to be together. They're meant to be together. So we all know that the outcome eventually, whether it's this lifetime or the next, or the next, or the next, the outcome eventually is they will be together because they're meant to learn and grow together. However, I want to know about this lifetime. And I'm sure you guys do too. And it's going to be different for everyone, and the timeline is going to be different. So I'm just going to ask what the outcome is for the rest of this kind of energy. I think it's going to take a little bit. Let's say for the rest of the year. Okay. God's saying 6 months. 6 months outcome for some people. All right, let's ask a different question then. Let's ask, what do we need to do to help heal this situation between now and when the new cycle starts, which is October 31st? He said blue cards. Okay. My apologies here. Okay. What can the masculine do to heal the situation, Heavenly Father? Or to work towards healing between now and October 31st? What should he be working on? Oh, I got the Empress in reverse, and I got the Five of Pentacles. I think this is about compassion. That is the distinct message I'm getting here. He needs to be working on compassion for others right now. He did not see his divine masculine clearly, did not treat her well. His little spider bite, he might have meant it to be small and defensive, but clearly we can see from her energy, there's a wounding there. And again, as I said, her triggers, she needs to work on her shadow work. But he still needs to understand his part in it, in the circle of life, not just with the divine feminine, but with all energies. I think this is the feeling I get is this is not just about his masculine or his feminine. This is about the lesson in what happened with the feminine and taking this lesson out into the world at large and realizing that if there's masculine and feminine energy in everybody, then even the men in his life can be hurt by the things he says or does because they still have emotions. They still have feelings. They may be tougher outside. They may talk big smack outside, but inside we all have feelings. We need to be compassionate. And he needs to be more understanding. Remember, we were talking about how he feels like no matter what he does, it's the same stuff. This will change for him. This feeling of everything being the same lesson. When he starts seeing the why. What's the lesson in this masculine? What is it that you're missing? Okay, example. And this interestingly enough, this is both kind of how he's feeling. Even if he's got a pretty good income coming in, he still feels a little left out in the cold and a little confused. This is about understanding. And understanding brings compassion, not just for him, but for other people. What they're showing me is years ago. Oh, thank God it's years ago. Every car I had, without fail, every car I had, the side mirror would break. And I would get so frustrated. And I'd get it fixed, and the side mirror would break again. And I get it fixed, and it'd break again. And I asked God, I said, why is it that the side mirror is always breaking? It wasn't the driver's side, because that would have been a big ticket, illegal, blah, blah. It's always the passenger side. And I had to get in a little mirror and stick it on there, or glue it on there, till I could get it fixed. And God said, we've been trying to tell you, you're not seeing things clearly. And that was their symbol for it. And once I got that message, it stopped for a long time. And all of a sudden, I was having issues again, seeing things the way they really were. And I was letting myself get all caught up in drama. And all of a sudden, my side mirror broke. And I looked at him like, oh, snap. I'm sorry, God. I got it. Couldn't you have just said, and I literally said this, I said, couldn't you have just told me that? And I think their answer was, we tried and you weren't listening. Luckily, I did get the message, and they did let me find a place that got the mirror for me that time only, for really cheap. But he's not going to come out of this energy until he figures out what lessons it is that he needs to learn. There are things that are going on in his life symbolically trying to show him what he was not getting internally. Now for the feminine. What can the feminine do to promote healing in her life? This is my card for being patient. She's ready to go on a journey. Oh, it's also up to side. That's why they made me do the blue deck. In this deck specifically, she's holding on to one. She's turned away from this, okay? So all the other decks have this girl, masculine or feminine, girl or boy, whatever. But they're looking out at the water. There's the ship that's always coming in. They're always waiting. That's always the same. In this particular deck, though, she's holding this glove, or this, it's not quite a glove. It's more like the sleeve is covering her hand. So she's not quite touching it. She's not quite maybe aware that she's holding it. And she's looking away. Like, this always strikes me as someone who is unconsciously made a choice, but is not consciously aware of her choice. She needs to become consciously aware of her choice, because she can't move towards anything or do anything else or even make another choice as long as she's unconsciously already chosen this. And if that's what she really wants, then she can start taking steps towards it. But she needs to become aware first of what it is that she's choosing. So that is the energy of the divine feminines, the divine masculines. There's a lot of pain on both sides right now. A lot of anger about how each person has hurt the other. And let me tell you guys, it's not worth it. Especially when you take into account that the whole reason for this journey is to learn to overcome these triggers and these fears. Well, how can we learn to overcome something if we don't experience something? So how can we be that mad at someone for being the catalyst for what we needed to do? Not to say, again, I'm not, and maybe I'll get in trouble with God for this later, I'm not 100% letting my twin flame off the hook. I've forgiven him, and I love him, and hopefully he's forgiven me for my mistakes. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, do I wish that he could have said something a little bit different? Yeah. Did I just give a lesson about that? Yeah. Do I now have to retract what I just now said? Yes. Because no matter how I feel, God just gave the message, and the message is what it is. So, yeah, he was the catalyst for my growth. So can I really be mad at him? No, he had to say it exactly as he said it. Because if he hadn't said it exactly as he said it, I wouldn't have faced the things I faced. So, I guess when you look at it that way, there was nothing to forgive, because he didn't do anything wrong, because it was exactly as it was supposed to be. Boy, this whole 3D, 5D thing gets all screwed up. It screws up my head. All right. I'm going to give one more card here in a minute for the... Actually... No, I think this one is for you. Which doesn't make a lot of sense right now. Okay. So, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Sarthak? Are you still on with me here? All right, this is my first live, so I'm not typing anything while I try to do this. And I'm not seeing anything that tells me whether or not you're still here. It does not look like you are. So if you come and you watch this later, just to see if I answered your question, because I did say that I would answer. This old helmet, if you actually are here and you actually wanted to participate with something other than that, I will honor what I said. So this is for Sarthak. The question that you asked me is extremely personal. Without you being here, I don't want to get into that much of an in-depth answer because it requires looking into some stuff. We just had someone else join. Hi, JP Imtrust. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and give a general guidance to somebody that asked a question but is no longer on. And then just because it was pretty heartfelt and important. And if they want to contact me, I think I do have my contact information up somewhere. They can, and I will try to do a reading for them since I said I would, for at least 2 people that jumped on here. Yeah, I did a test live, when I started doing YouTube a long time ago, but I don't know if it loaded. I'm not sure what happened to it. It was pretty mangled. Oh, thank you. I think mostly just shyness and fear. It was easier for me to hide behind the camera when I knew no one was there to see me, and then hit the press button and try to forget that I ever did it. Thank you. I'm really glad you joined. Have you seen any of the other videos that have been out there? I'm not just talking about mine. I'm very good at hiding it when I'm doing this. In fact, me and my best friend were just talking about that earlier today. We're talking about our differences and how he's very good about just walking up and talking to people and just saying something right away. But he has trouble with the longer parts of the conversation. I have a hard time saying something initially, and then after a few, like if someone else comes up and says something, then I can talk. Oops. Okay, give me just a second. I'm gonna as promised, I will give this message for the first person that had asked on here. So for Sarthak, blessed it is to know that neither distance nor death can truly separate those who love. Oh, well, given that your question was, will she come back? I think this is one of my few cards that says anything like this. This is a deck I'm working on, just so you know. They will eventually have my artwork and my photography behind them, hopefully. But for now, this is a work in progress, but God won't let me wait till it's done. Because I was supposed to do this like 7 years ago. So blessed it is to know that neither distance nor death can truly separate those who love. It's a quote by John Moore. And then what was channeled to me after that was the twin flame journey is both a symbolic and representation. A symbolic and representative and an energetic phenomenon. Symbolically, it represents the need to balance and love our duality while still seeking with balance to bridge duality into harmony. Whew. Once one molecular energy called a soul, 2 frequencies fell out of harmony, created discord, and separated. They must then learn to love the duality and transform the energy with love. That was a mouthful. So the best answer is that I think that's your key there, is to have faith that if you guys are twin flames, if you guys are meant to be, she will come back. But In the meantime, soul frequencies. Look into frequencies. Look into listening to different sound frequencies, meditations with healing frequencies. And I'm not talking about doing the ones that draw in soulmates specifically. I don't think you should intentionally do that unless you guys are not in true separation and you have permission from each other and you're using it in tandem together to try to connect. Stay away from trying to force her will. But do work on healing yourself. And you can do that by doing, there's binaural beats, isochronic tones that you can add to your meditative toolbox. Frequency therapy, different frequencies affect different parts of our body and help heal. So it's just one more thing that you can add that will assist you. And in my opinion, it is one of the fastest ways to bring your own frequency up. And as you heal, the way that twin flames work anyway, if she is your twin flame, is that usually as you are healing, or one of the twins is healing, the other one begins to heal, even if they're far apart, even if they're not talking, because that's just kind of how their energy is connected. They kind of feel each other that way. Okay. So, JP Empress, did you want me to pull a few cards for you before I get off for the evening? Or I should ask more specifically, do you have a question? Okay. Go ahead and ask your question. I will try to answer. If it's a reading question, I'll let God answer. I can. It will depend on the question. It literally depends on what they guide me to do. Every person is different. Every reading I've done is different. In fact, if you want, we can do this just like I do regular readings. When I do them in person, which would be, just think of your question. You don't even have to ask me and don't tell me anything about what's going on. That's confirmation for you and I. Is that okay with you? You can just do a thumbs up if that's all right. Okay. You want me to pull one of these for you first, and then we're going to set it off to the side. Okay. I think next year is going to be hard to do. Not impossible. Where you're, let me put it this way, what I can do. Thank you. what I can do is as in physically can do, a spread that was a twin flame spread that would give you the energy of next year. But that would only give you the energy of next year based on if nothing changes between now and October 31st. If you're on the same wavelength that I'm on, if you're on one of the other wavelengths, then yours would be sometime at the end of spring, etc., etc. And that's a whole nother video. But long story short, and I have a feeling you are on this wavelength. In fact, they're telling me you're on this wavelength. Your changes are going to be coming end of October, which means that unless you guys are already in union, you want things to change. You do not want to have whatever energy is going on right now happening then. Give me just a second. I will give you the energy. Let's start with the energy from now to October, the end of October, if that's all right. Because it definitely feels like there's a change that needs to be made. And like I said, don't tell me anything till I'm done. But it's I don't know if Mercury is out of retrograde or not. But it's almost like the image they're giving me is like when Mercury went into retrograde, the universe pulled back the rubber band, and the rubber band being the energy that will propel us forward. And when Mercury comes out of retrograde, that rubber band is going to be released, and we're going to be pushed forward towards that next season. Whatever we do between now and October 31st for our own healing, whatever seeds we plant, whatever, any energy that we put into making things better is going to, I'm hearing, have a tenfold effect, both in negative ways and in positive ways on the next season. So this is a really interesting and delicate time. Okay. Excuse me. Head, heart, spirit, energy between them. Okay, so this is where he's at right now, the masculine energy. Eight of Wands in reverse. Lack of forward movement. But this is more than lack of forward movement. So this is the Eight of Wands in this deck. In the reverse, it still looks like either way, all of these flames, they're highly destructive and headed straight back. It's almost like whatever it looks like or feels like. Why am I thinking of Harry Potter and Quidditch? It literally is making me think of Harry Potter. I don't know if you're familiar with Harry Potter, but they play a game in Harry Potter called Quidditch, and they ride on these brooms. And this reminds me of that broom that he really, really liked. But it makes me feel like the broom, instead of taking off, is plummeting to the ground in a very dangerous way. This man's sense of home, not his stability, but his happiness in his home is upside down. He doesn't feel like he actually feels demasculated, knocked off his broom, demasculated, knocked off of his Quidditch broom. I should say Quidditch broom. Because Harry was a champion. And I don't get so much, I don't get secrets with this moon, more like just melancholy, feeling not so great, very kind of sad. It's hiding its light. In his heart space, indecision, tired of waiting. This was the same card that came out in the other one. Definitely some interesting energy with the masculines, feminines. Only in the masculine energy, yours is this is a specific reading. So I'm getting, this person is, what they want is no longer subconscious anymore. He knows what his heart wants. In fact, I think that's what caused this. The masculine for you guys, and I don't know which one of you feels like you hold the masculine energy versus feminine energy. Although I get the feeling that you're the feminine, he's the masculine. His heart knows what he wants. He knows. But the heart's tired of waiting, tired of this whole 3D, 5D, 3D, 5D. I'm also getting the feeling like again, it's like the Quidditch broomstick. Only it feels like his heart is saying, like, let go of the damn let go of the pride, let go of the damn broomstick. Like, you don't have to be the damn champion at everything. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Everything is reversed for the masculine. This one's not so terrible. In this deck, the Page of Pentacles, it always strikes me that he's looking back over his shoulder. He's watching for someone to take that pentacle away from him. He's got his little coins right here. He's not too worried about those. But this big coin, this opportunity, this thought, he's holding on to that for dear life. In reverse, he's not as concerned about that anymore. He's coming out of this energy of being just primarily focused on his money. For the feminine, I have Queen of Wands. This is strange energy. I get the impression, say at first glance on this card, you could look at her initially and think, all kinds of not so nice things. But then what it feels like is that this woman's hair is kind of knotted. It's sticking up. And that's what people might see, is they might not be thinking nice things. But she's just exhausted. She's tired. She's so frustrated. And she's holding on to her own Quidditch wand, her own Quidditch broom. Just, in a sense, I feel like there's almost this sense of spite towards the masculine in it too. It's like, this is mine. I've got this. You're not taking this away from me. This is mine. And so everyone's looking at her kind of like, oh, she's not very nice. But the energy I get, she's just seeing the blue in it. this kind of blue-green, almost like it's that color that depicts when someone feels like when they're so sick, they're right before they're going to throw up, but they haven't thrown up yet. That their stomach is knotted. They feel awful. It's that kind of feeling, or that kind of energy, but this is in the head. This isn't in the body. So this is that just complete exhaustion. I'm just so tired of this game. You guys are mirroring each other. In his heart space, he's tired of this 3D back and forth, trying to figure out how he's going to get what he wants, not getting it. And mentally, they're telling me, you're tired of this. You're tired of watching him do this. And you're holding on to your own little trophy. And just, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks right now, because you're too damn tired to argue. You're the more masculine, what it says, energy-wise. Yeah. I think you are. Like I said, you're holding that Quidditch thing right there. And you're just like, it's mine. But I'm telling you right now, the reading, and I know you know yourself better than anybody else does, okay? I hate it when people tell me about my body. But energy-wise, this whole castle thing is what makes me say the masculine. So if you really feel like you're the more masculine one, then this pile would be your side. And yet I feel like this is your side. In fact, I was really struggling on how to say this part because I didn't want to offend you, and I was trying to figure out how to explain what I was seeing with that coloring. This feels like your side. It feels like just this frustrated energy. And of course, like I said, I could be picking up on it could be your side, but we'll just finish and then you can tell me afterwards what you think. Two Swords. So still feels like you. It still feels like I'm connecting to the person I'm talking to on the other side of the screen, which would be, this is not just needing to make a decision, but it's a little bit of both. It's blind. I feel like part of it is blind faith, but also like I don't feel a lack of confidence in making this decision. There's a decision to be made, but you have faith in the universe that it will be made. So you don't mind that you're going in blind. You feel very confident about this decision. But I think you're also waiting because there's something up here you still don't know. Just like there was something on the masculine side, that moon had meaning. Here, I do feel like it's secrets, but not like bad kind of secrets exactly. Just a piece of information that you still need. And although this is a cloud, I was just drawn to it. When I'm looking at it reversed like this, it looks almost like another moon. This is speaking to me of cycles, like one full moon cycle. And spiritually speaking, well, it makes sense. I hadn't even looked at the cards yet. It makes sense that you said you feel more masculine. Spiritually speaking, this is what you're working on. Your masculine energy. Your emperor energy. Which is to say that on a spiritual level, it's about both balancing the masculine parts of yourself, which, and I have another video about this. There's a lot of talk about twin flames and balance, but that doesn't necessarily mean being 100% balanced. It doesn't mean that you're going to be half feminine and half masculine. Just like the yin and yang symbol, it means that you're going to have the right amount of feminine and the right amount of masculine, which is going to be different for each person, but enough masculine that you can do with the things that you need to do and accomplish and be logical and practical, and enough of the feminine attributes to be compassionate, creative, caring, and it's going to be different for each of us. This is the and you may be the very masculine energy here, because this does feel like a lot of masculine energy. But this is what you're working on spiritually, is understanding the Emperor better, understanding your twin, your I got something wrong on this one. Using your masculine energy in the way that an emperor would. Okay, they're drawing my attention to certain things. The symbol here, the map here. I can't even remember what that symbol is. I think it's Hebrew. I'd have to go look it up. I think that's Hebrew. The map. They're drawing my attention to just like a lot of the symbology in the card. It's about learning to utilize your masculine energy in pursuit of higher intellect, which is somehow going to be a catalyst for you this coming year. In fact, see the masculine has his castle upside down. Feminine has it right side up. And I don't know what this means exactly because they're not telling me. I know that in this one for the masculine, it was about him being demasculated, feeling like he'd been dethroned, but specifically feeling demasculated. In this one, this has something to do with the upcoming year, and it's veiled. I don't know what's going to happen or what it means, but it is going to be connected to this. I think that somehow something that you have the ability to research or learn has the potential to be a catalyst to put this upright for him. The feminine has it the right side up. The one that I feel like is your energy has it the right side up. But it's also, like I said, it's veiled. It's not here yet. I think it's going to be, it's only going to come after something that is learned. And I don't mean learned as in the spiritual lessons that we get on the twin flame journey. But I mean as what we actively seek out to learn, book learning. There's a very strong feeling of something that you could learn from books or lessons or classes, some sort of intellectual endeavor that is taken between now and October 31st, or at least they're correcting, started between now and October 31st, has the potential to to create a catalytic event. Energy between the two of you. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So and the upright, this queen to me is not my nicest Queen of Pentacles. She's kind of more, I get the feeling of kind of being a little on the greedy side. So in the reverse, it's kind of like releasing that a little bit. It almost, not almost, they are saying greed is a lesson that has to be worked on in this twin flame union. They're not specifying which side it's coming for, the masculine or the feminine, although in twin flames, we know they mirror. So usually just because one of them is learning about it right now, it doesn't mean that somebody else won't, the other one won't learn about it next year. So greed is one of the lessons that you and your twin flame have, whether you're on the side of the one wanting to hoard something and hold on to it and not share, or the one that is on the side looking at your twin going, you're being kind of stingy right now. So, and they don't have to necessarily be being stingy towards you or you towards them. It could be something you're observing in each other or observing from other people in the outside world. They're not specifying how this is coming through right now, because this is an energy between the two of you. This is going to be a lesson that you guys are going to be learning a lot about, which means it's going to come up in different forms. Sometimes you're going to be on one side of it. Sometimes you're going to be on the other side of it. Sometimes you'll be watching it from each other. Sometimes you'll be watching it from the outside world. This is one of the things that you guys wanted to learn more about. Why are people greedy? What effect does it have on people? What effect does it have on the world? That is one of the reasons that set you two apart from any other couple, and together as a couple. You guys wanted to both learn this. You wanted to understand what the energy of greed does in the world, which means you're going to experience a lot of it, both from other people and within yourself towards other people that you will have to overcome. The Empress in reverse. This is lack of not honoring the feminine energy. This is the energy between you and the Two of Pentacles. So these are the things that you guys came here to learn. That's what they're giving me. So not honoring the feminine energy. And that, again, it's going to come in the forms of you guys doing it to each other, doing it to other people, watching other people do it to each other, because all of those elements are needed to learn. There are things that we can learn from observing other people that we don't see when we're close to it and in the midst of it. There's emotions and feelings connected to those things that we won't understand just watching. We only understand what's happening to us. So for you two as a couple, it will not be abnormal for both of you to both be kind of in that masculine energy at the same time. Now that can create conflicts in a relationship. When both people are trying to hold on to the masculine at the same time, it creates a lack of who's going to lead. And again, there are other videos where I've explained this, so it's explained much better in other videos. But what they showed me was the twin flame union is like a dance. And at one point, one of them is leading and the other follows, and then they reverse. And it's because they're balancing out that leadership energy. The masculine is the leader energy. So they're balancing out the masculine. So ideally, the masculine and feminine should be switching. When he's in his masculine, she's in the feminine, and vice versa, until at some point he's taking more of a leadership, or whichever one's masculine. When they're both in the masculine energy especially, they tend to fly off. When they're both in the feminine energy, they tend to fly off. If they get too much into the masculine energy or too much into the feminine energy, either one of them, but not balancing it together, they go through the runner stage. There's a lot of things that cause the runner stage, because runner stage is nothing but lessons, hard lessons. But that's one of your guys' lessons together. Reverse is not always bad. Reverse in this middle pile, these are just the things that you have to learn about. I just wouldn't have understood that that's what it was if it had come up in the upright. It would have taken me longer to get to that. But because they put it in reverse, I had to stop and think about it, as they were able to get through my thick skull faster. That's what they're saying. So it's nothing on you guys. It's all on me, the reader, and them getting through to me. But again, that Empress energy is just learning to bring more of that in, which would include things like being creative. And another thing they taught me is if you want to catalyst that growth, just like being creative is an expression of the feminine energy, you can trigger the feminine energy by being creative. And there's lots of scientific backing for experiments that have been done about how our physiological body can affect the mental and vice versa. But what they showed me in terms of growth years and years ago, and they were talking about raising the vibration specifically on a person when you get stuck in a spot. If you learn something, anything, it can help get you unstuck and propel you forward. Doing a craft or being creative in some way can help get you unstuck, especially a more feminine-like craft. And feminine doesn't have to do with what society says. It has to do with the energy behind it. For instance, I thought there was nothing unfeminine about shooting a gun, but they told me that shooting a gun is definitely masculine because the force with which the bullet comes out of the barrel is a masculine, because force is masculine. It's a masculine force. And because it has a deep sound when it shoots out of a shotgun, it's a masculine vibration. So if I want to balance out my feminine, if I want to bring more feminine in, I should probably go to my other crafts like knitting. Hold on, I dropped one of your cards. The last one that came in reverse was just about it's the Two of Pentacles. And for this one, they're just getting me to learning to balance things in life. Money too, but specifically the energy, anything that would be associated with prosperity. So learning to balance out work and home life, learning to balance out not so much balance out your checkbook, because that's a pretty quick lesson to learn. And they showed me the infinity. There's a wisp of smoke here that kind of you can almost see it, because around the pentacle and then up around this one. But they said it has more to do with literally with the things that you associate with prosperity, which can be different for different people. There's things that make you what you make money for. Okay, so if you're working really hard for money, you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And that's different. The answer to that is different for everybody. That's going to give you the things that you're going to be working on or using as tools to work on this energy. But it's about learning to balance that out. To balance out the things that have to do with your prosperity. So your work and your home life. And that's the biggest thing I can think of. For me, that's it. Like, I don't have a lot of needs. Work, travel, home life. I'm a homebody. Work. All right. Well, when the dance is over, and by that I'm guessing you mean the runner stage. It's just we have to understand it's never really over. I don't know how to quote unquote leave it up. As far as I know, once I hit end stream, I think, depending on how I put my settings, it'll either immediately be posted, or worst case scenario, I'll come back and look in a few minutes, and because I know I posted the other one that I messed up on. If it doesn't immediately post, I think I go back in there and I just have to hit make public. So yeah, I can make sure I do that for you. But we just have to remember that we're only here for however many years we're here for, right? E equals M. One of the things I love about Einstein's, and that's why I say it so much, E equals MC squared. It means we're immortal. It literally means we never, ever, ever die. We're here forever. I mean, not maybe on this earthly plane, but if energy cannot be created or destroyed, and we are energy, then we cannot be created or destroyed. We're always in existence, which means if you're twin flame and you are destined to come back together, it means that you will, at some point, energetically, at least, even if it's not on this plane, be together. And if we can remember that, which I know, believe me, I know this journey's hard. I know it's sometimes hard to remember that and to think about it that way. But if we can think about it that way and just remember that it's going to be okay. And this dance, it's not really ended. Will it pick back up again in a month or two? We don't know. Will it be 6 months from now? We don't know. I can tell you, though, that since you guys had such strong things between you, and they were telling me what it is that you guys were set here to learn together, and the fact that we had the castle upside down on one side, and that the message was that whatever it is that you're set to learn, whatever it is that this learning will be the catalyst to this, and it's almost like this is, oh, I do know what this is, sort of, but I can't tell you. That's why it's failed. Okay, you like this. Watch the other readings. They give it away. I'm not allowed to. Not yet. I'm going to put this up there, though. This symbol, they keep drawing me to the symbol. I don't know if this has meaning for you. And if you can't see this, let me know, and I will do another 10-second video just so you can see this later. Or I will take a picture of the card and post it if I need to. Can you see this symbol by any chance? I should have put the delay on the things like 2 seconds. Oh, God. Let me see. Is there any way to make it? Let's do something crazy. Okay, hold on. I'm literally pulling my ring light over here to see if it helps, because they're not letting up about that symbol being important. Shoot. Yeah, even I can't. All right, what I will do is I will take a picture of this card, and I will post this card as the thumbnail for this video, because that symbol is somehow important, or supposed to have some kind of significance for you, either now or in the future. And by future, I mean near future. And something about something that you actively seek out to learn between now and October 31st is going to be the catalyst for your castle. And then your castle is going to be, it is your castle first. Your castle is the catalyst. Where is his? Alas's castle. For his coming upright. So, let me keep that one out. I will, as soon as I get this done, I'm going to have to, shoot, I'm going to do that. Give me about 10-15 minutes because I have to let this one post, and then I have to go in on, I'll take the picture on my phone and then use that as the thumbnail. So I have to do a quick edit. Oh, hold on there. If you have another minute, the card they first had me pull out for you. They will be vanquished by their vices as easily as by force of arms. What about you? Quote by Tactius. And the channeled message for that was, this was a message many years ago, a message of reassurance in the face of an enemy. Yet have you ever heard that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? In the past, military persons have expressed this of their teams and to their teams to remind them each individual to work on themselves and to be ready at any time. Are you ready? So this is a message about strengthening yourself, preparing yourself for whatever is coming up, and making yourself just the best version of you that you can be. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I will get this posted for you as fast as I can. Have a good night. Oh, I should ask, are there any other questions you have before I go? About this reading. Thank you. Excuse me, I have to take another sip of water. You too. Thanks. Bye.